it's Jennifer here from Belladonna's Botanicals. Apologize if the video quality is a little off at all on this. For whatever reason, I I my
broke
little
my
nubbins from my Mac laptop that I record videos on broke, so we're just using the built-in FaceTime and all of that and microphone. So apologies if there is any video quality issues in advance. It's just me talking, which you are more than used to at this point in time. But I have a couple videos I'm making today, and apologies for the absence. August has been one hell of a month, let's just say. So, without further ado, I'd like to talk about basically the topic here is I've just called it divine intelligences replete with knowledge, dismantling spiritual hierarchies based upon human ego and propaganda. What do I mean by that? Um, so a while back I was having a conversation with someone like, what was it? I think I was talking to the Polish folk witch about Baba Yaga, and it's like how people want to, classify, different spirits as goddesses or deities and things like that. And I was talking about how I go with what, as a demonologist, how we refer to spirits as divine intelligences replete with knowledge. That's angels, that's demons, that's gods, that's goddesses, deities, whatever. It's a good catch-all phrase that dismantles the binaries and spiritual hierarchies based upon human ego and propaganda. Now, let's get into it. These are things I talk about a lot on here. And I realize I am not giving you a lot of here's how you do this, and this ritual and this spell. I'm talking about broader concepts in magic, spirituality, occultism, demonology, energy work, you name it. I'll talk about it on here at some point if I know what it is. Sometimes I have to look things up and read things and learn more things, and that's why I own a lot of books. So often we see people asking questions, well, what are spirits? How do I refer to Lilith? Is she a demon, a demoness, a goddess, a dark goddess, you know, pre-Canaanite spirit? Is she a deity of Judaica? That sort of thing. And that might lead into a secondary video. I just have to make myself a little note. So, why is it important to dismantle spiritual hierarchies? Because a lot of times, us crafty little humans and our human egos, and having been exposed to a lot of bullshit propaganda over the years, um, from Christianity mostly, not to say other religions are, I just don't know, I'm just not as familiar with them. So, what I talk about, and anytime I see this, and I will say this, as a demonologist, as an occultist, as a witch, it enrages me when I see other witches and occultists, especially ones with the, oh, decolonize this and colonizer, colonizer, colonizer. This is closed. This is cultural appropriation. Go full circle and be like, these people are demons when they're talking about whatever, the government or something. And don't get me wrong, the government's pretty shit, but like maybe don't insult my gods and my deities and my spirituality in the process. Because guess what, guys? That is deeply rooted in racism, uh, anti-Semitism, and pre-Christian cultural erasure. And probably and probably bits of genocide and colonization along the ways. So if you're decolonizing your things and your bookshelf and your practice, stop describing things you do not like and do not understand as satanic, demonic, and looking down your nose at dark energy or anything dark in that sense. And I'm being blunt about this because I am autistic, I can be blunt, but also this is something I'm very passionate about because every day someone insults my sacred spirituality based on propaganda and human ego bullshit. And I'm here to dismantle that. So, and yes, I'm going to acknowledge in that process, I cannot speak for every practice, tradition, and pantheon because we're talking about thousands and thousands of different types of spirits and entities. To me, divine intelligence is a great way to describe anything you're working with, whether it's an ancestor, whether it's a spirit guide, an animal guide, whether it's a deity, a god, a goddess, a fae, a jinn. They're all divine intelligences, replete with knowledge and wisdom. That's a very easy way to stop putting the, well, my God's better than your God. My Sky Daddy's better than your Sky Daddy. Like, please. Like, just because I work with demons doesn't make me any lesser than someone who works with angels. I also work with angels. I work with all different types of spirits. Uh, and I'm sorry to my Christian haters club. I go to church too. And, I'm a Byzantine Catholic and satanic demonologer. I can be whatever the fuck I want. That's my, part of that's my cultural heritage and my ancestor work, and part of that is me. And also embracing Slavic paganism. So that's my trifecta right there. And when you get further down the rabbit hole into a lot of, I'm only speaking it here in sort of like, I'm just gonna use the Slavic paganism of Eastern Europe. There is when you get down that rabbit hole in this, and there's a lot of information. There, every culture sort of has a folkloric devil, which is very different than the Christian, you're gonna burn in hell, Satan, ooh, big bad guy kind of thing. So, that's what I want to talk about here. Why is this important to dismantle spiritual hierarchies? Because we've so many people looking down their noses at other people's practices, and I'm probably guilty of it myself. I admit that freely when I am making these videos. I talk from experience, I talk from my own fuck ups, and and it does get irritating to me when someone looks down their nose at me and my practices and my sacred spirituality and my deities and my gods. So kindly, please stop describing things as satanic and demonic just because you don't like them or understand them. I'm sorry. The US government sucks. They're terrible humans, but they're not demons. Please do not insult my spirituality, my faith, and my religion, and the gods and goddesses that I work with. It's about mutual respect. You don't have to understand it or like it, but fuck off. If you're going to be looking down your nose at me, get out of my, I do not need you in my space at all. And I don't care if you're an influencer with like 50,000 Instagram followers. That ain't shit. Sorry, not sorry. But and for the 40 bazillionth time, hold on, I will be right back. And as I've mentioned on numerous videos over the past year or so, please, if you really want to understand what I'm talking about here, especially when it comes to demons and dark energy and demonolatry, the origin of Satan. How Christians Demonize Jews, Pagans, and Heretics by Elaine Pagels. This is written by not an occultist, I believe Ivy League scholarly theologian, an historian. It is a brilliant book, and it would understand why, again, I say, calling everything satanic and demonic is based in racism, anti-Semitism, genocide, and pre-Christian cultural erasure. So a lot of all those things you call icky ew demons are just old gods that got fucked by Christianity. So please, if you're going to decolonize anything today, this week, or this year, decolonize this bullshit. Please stop. It makes you look like an ignorant fuck. And especially if you're out there trying to be a social justice warrior, which oh, decolonize this, and oh my God, cultural appropriation, and that's a closed practice, and this, and trying to be a spiritual authority on this, and you're throwing this kind of bullshit around, you got some decolonization to do yourself. Whoppa! And moving along. As you can see, I'm still extra spicy, but I am a perimenopausal Gen Xer, so it is what it is. And if you watch this channel, you're more than familiar with what my personality is like and what I have to say. So, all of this goes into dismantling binaries of spirituality because so many people get stuck in the good versus evil or dark versus light and miss all this crap in between. And you can't have all darkness and all light. It's about finding balance, seeing the full spectrum in between there and beyond there. It's a spherical spectrum. because you work with angels and light and stuff like that doesn't make you any better than someone who works with demons. It is what it is. We're equal here. It's just we're on different types of spheres, different playing fields, whatever. You're not better than me. I'm not better than you. We just are. It just is. The spirits we work with should be respected regardless. So please stop looking down your nose at other people's sacred spirituality because you don't understand it. Because a lot of times it's rooted in very nasty stuff. Anywho, moving along. So, a lot of this, and I've talked about this before on multiple spectrums in here, in this, as I've kind of got further digging into the nitty gritty of spiritual practices, including my own, and the myriad of things I experience, the questions I get, and all of that. So, this is based on my everyday life. I am constantly reading something, I'm watching documentaries, I am talking to people, I am learning things, and all of that enriches my spirituality and my practice so amazingly. Lucifer's my patron. My Reiki teacher did Reiki and IET, which is some sort of angelic healing on me. Did Michael go, ew, no, I'm not touching that grody ass bitch. No, she worked with Michael, Archangel Michael and Raphael, maybe, on one part of it. I'm good. Still a demonologer. Spirits don't care most of the time. A lot of what we place on spirits is our bullshit. And I, I respect them and I work with them and I have working relationships with different spirits. Like traditionally, a lot of people are like, oh no, Santa Muerte, you only work with alone. And yes, that's kind of the case. But I have had a few instances where I've worked with her and other very different types of deities and at the same time. It was different. It was interesting. The situation called for it, but it's not something I normally do. So when someone says, "Oh no, you have to do it this way," or the Morgan needs a messy altar and stuff like that. Well, the Morgan hasn't destroyed my altar yet. I have her in a pile of rocks and shit, and she's fine. So some of this stuff is whisper down the alley spirituality. Some of it is we're basing a lot of things on people that came before us, and everyone has a different working relationship with that entity. Now, as I said before, I can't speak for all traditions and cultures because I'm not initiated into, say, Santeria, so I don't know how they do their things. And that's fine. But what I'm talking about here is the overall big picture of how we look at spirituality and treat each other. I'm not going to look at someone and go, "Oh, you work with archangels. Ew, how pedestrian, how gross. Oh, ugh." Like that's so egotistical and so rude and so unnecessary. So think about that. Because everything, regardless of where you are in your practice or your tradition or your school skill level, it's all about balance in the end. It's balancing the dark and light. It's seeing the spectrum of colors and all the shades of gray in between. And that no single one thing there is you're placing hierarchy and quality quantity structures on things that it doesn't really apply to. Okay, so I'm gonna use this as an example. So, talk about dark energy, dark spirits, whatever there. This is like saying, oh no, don't ever work with dark spirits or dark energy or demons and stuff like that. It's like saying purple doesn't exist because I don't believe in purple, and therefore you shouldn't believe in purple either, and you shouldn't work with purple because purple's bad because I don't like purple. That's kind of how it comes across, and it's a little weird if I don't say so myself. Um, because purple exists whether you like purple or not, and whether you have, if you have if you're colorblind, you might not see purple, but purple still exists. you know? So putting it in that context, I just want people to really think about how we call, because if I sat here and rattled off every type of, talking about gods, goddesses, deities, demigods, demons, angels, fae, jinn, loi, down the road, every sentence would be 20 words long because I'm putting in every single qualifier for every different spirit type. Saying divine intelligence is replete with knowledge or spirit or whatever is a catch-all phrase, and sometimes we need those. And for me, that's how I approach it. You don't have to. I'm just suggesting this as a way to dismantle these spiritual hierarchies of one person, of people looking down on each other because their practices are different, or they work with different spirits, or different type of energy, because energy is energy. It's kind of what you do with it. I mean, people give demons a bad rap. Holy crap. My guardian angel has a body count. I'm pretty sure of it. And I'm not talking about sex either in that sense. So we have spirits that protect us, and my guardian angel is pretty badass, but also pretty freaking scary. And especially if you look at the biblically accurate angels, they are not fluffy little cute little warrior dudes either. They're like 80-eyed blobby gooby things and weird. But anyways, so this is just, I mean, I know I touch upon this topic a lot, but I want to know what you think about like how you would call spirit. Would you be offended by calling Odin a divine intelligence replete with knowledge? Would you would that make sense? Because to me, yeah, oh, I can interchangeably God, goddess, whatever, but I think divine intelligences is like the best way to talk about the spirit world, whether you are communicating with spirits of the dead, whether you're communicating with ancestors, anything in that whole spectrum of all the different types of spirits there are in the world. Fuck yeah. It's awesome. I really haven't encountered any spirits that I've disliked working with or have had, really bad experiences with. I mean, usually anytime I've had something there, it's been something someone threw at me. It's more of like a familiar or like a succubi incubi kind of thing, but it's something that's bound to them. That's honestly the only times I've had weird spiritual issues. Outside of for when I moved back here and all the land spirits decided to like visit me, like, hi, welcome home. Who are you? And I had all sorts of spirits in my house. A lot of activity. I had to make sure to ward it. So I have, because sometimes you can have trickster spirits and the spirits of the intranquil dead are a lot. I have specific wards for that. So this is the way I work with the spirit world. I would like to just see things being approached in a much more, forget egalitarian is the right word, but in a more balanced approach, respectful. There's nothing that irritates me more is when I'm talking to someone in my same, in the witch spectrum, in the medium spectrum, in the psychic spectrum, in the tarot spectrum, because I cross-pollinate in a lot of areas, from the love and light to the ooky spooky, demonolatry stuff. And I'm using that as an example there of how people view that. And it I don't give a shit what my Christian haters say. I will literally just make fun of them and post it on Instagram for everyone else to point and laugh at too. So, but when I see it coming from witches and TikTok influencers and things like that, where these people are evil, they're demons, I'm sorry, but Satan doesn't want them either. Satan's a little more discerning than that. Please leave your Christian propaganda behind. That's something you need to decolonize in the spiritual practices. If you're gonna be, if that's what you're sticking with, decolonize that bullshit. Because as I said, racist as fuck, anti-Semitic as fuck, and genocide and the whole lovely history of genocide that follows. So decolonize that or shut the fuck up. Ooh, I made my laptop bloop. Anyways, and on that note, thank you for watching. Please drop a comment below and let me know what you think about the concept of divine intelligences replete with with knowledge, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, because that's kind of what I how I approach the spirit world. And in my experience, a lot of what we're doing to ourselves and our spirituality and our work is just human ego play. It's I don't know. Can't speak for all every single deity or all religions or all spiritual practices and traditions, but I've worked with a lot of different spirits over the years, all over the spectrum, and this is what I've learned. Take what you like, leave what you don't. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Please remember to follow us on social media. Sign up for our e-newsletter because as you know what I'm going to say here, algorithms suck, y'all. Love you.